Good morning, everybody. I'm not only just an editor for manuscripts and books. There's also term papers, newspapers, magazines. I was an editor for a e-magazine for a while, and then we just decided to go in different directions. Pretty much I decided. But everything that is written down on a piece of paper really should have somebody else look at it besides your own eyes, because a lot of people don't realize that they can't spell. Some people realize they can and they don't care, but whatever. One thing that's a big deal is punctuation. There was a lawsuit settled not too long ago by a trucking union who won like millions of dollars, I think, because in their contract, whoever wrote it forgot an Oxford comma, and that's when you use items in a series. So it was like they were responsible for this comma, that comma, no comma there, this comma, that, and something. So they were not getting paid for the other something. They were just getting paid for the first two because they lumped the third thing into the second one. But it was actually three separate things that they were doing. So they sued the company and they won because the contract actually lacked the Oxford comma for items in a series. So the union ended up winning like millions of dollars over one little minuscule comma. So it is important. It's very important. I started reading when I was about 3, and I would drive my mother crazy because I would read a book like that and she'd be like, "You need something else? You want something else to read? Okay, we'll go back to the library or wherever." I mean, I would read boxes, the back of cereal boxes, the dictionary, whatever. I was just constantly reading something. And that really did help me in school, especially in 6th grade. I got in trouble for reporting my teacher for being stupid to the principal. On our exam papers, he did not spell well. So I would return the paper to him edited. And he got mad and I had to go see the principal. And I showed the principal my paper and he's like, well, technically you're right, but he's the teacher and you're not. So please don't do that anymore. I'm like, all right. But needless to say, we did not get along very well. He graded me well because he had to, but you could tell from his face he didn't want to. And then in college, I only had to take like the first exam, and then my professors would have me grade my classmates' pages so that they had some of their workload reduced off them and I didn't have to take any more tests. So it was a total win-win situation for everybody. After that, went to college. No, I was in college, graduated college, went into the business world, used my editing skills on pretty much anything that came across my desk, unofficially or whatever. And then when Joe and I started our own video production company, I was in charge of all the paperwork, whether it was contracts or scripts or whatever, and I would proofread and edit everything that went out. Well, I wrote everything that went out of our office, but anything that came in from clients or anything, I would edit and proofread and make changes and make sure that they were okay with it before we, did the production based on that. And then after, when we closed the company in 2009, I was like, you know what? Why don't I just do this full time? So now I've got clients in the United States, United Kingdom, Ireland. They do want that distinction. And even as far as Southeast Asia. I finished a book for a guy in Pakistan not too long ago. And he actually had a very good grasp of English. He'd been educated in the British education system, so he put a lot of U's where we don't. But he wanted me to take those out for the American audience. But that was very, very interesting, looking at their culture, their life, through the book that he wrote about circumstances that happened over there. There was an earthquake several years ago, and it was about how the earthquake impacted the poor people. And I had a hard time editing that book because I was reading it because I was so interested in the subject matter. I'd get 20, 30 pages ahead of myself and have to, go backtrack and actually work on this. But it's really fun. I get to see people's work from before everybody else gets to read it, and I just love it. I really do. It's a lot of fun. There's different types of editing. There's developmental editing, where you actually help someone write something, give them ideas, guide them in different directions. Then there's copy editors who look at the whole picture, from grammar, spelling, to what color eyes somebody has on page 12, and make sure they don't have different colored eyes on page 112, because people get confused and they change it, and things like that. Then there's line editing, which is more concerned with every single word on a sentence. I do that too, but I look at the big picture to see what else is involved. And I've got a website. It's got a good bunch of projects that are on there, but I've got many more that are not on there because you just have to update it after, over time and things like that. When you read, what?
You're out of time.
I'm out of time?
Yeah.
Already?
Already.
Darn. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. You have any questions?
We got questions for you, I'm sure.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions?